So did you know that over 4 million Americans have quit every month for 11 months straight for the Great Resignation? According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, this trend didn't slow down in April of 2022, and it shows how quitting has become a new norm that employers are adjusting to. The trend that now exists of many people quitting their job in order to pursue other opportunities has been greeted by a harsh reality called the Great Reset.
The Great Reset.
Just this week alone, tech companies have announced major reductions in their workforce, such as Elon Musk stating he would need to cut staff by around 10% for Tesla. So in this video, let's talk about what the Great Reset really is, how this can impact you, your family, your loved ones, and how you can protect yourself during this time. Like the usual, if you guys are enjoying these updates, not really a daily market update for today, but if you guys are enjoying these videos, don't forget to drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel, bang, bang. All right, so first of all, what is the Great Reset? The Great Reset, for anyone who doesn't know, is just an agenda which focuses on three main components. The first of this is to steer the market towards fairer outcomes. To this end, governments could coordinate on improvements for taxes, regulations, and fiscal policy. At a time where it seems like inflation is on a rampage, the public debt has gone soaring since the $2 trillion stimulus package that was passed during the pandemic, and it seems like a lot of crazy stuff has been happening in the world. Now more than ever, it seems like governments have a more than powerful incentive to pursue such action to make improvements for the nation. In order to do this, implementation of long overdue reforms that promote equitable outcomes is what we're looking to engage in. Depending on what country you live in, this all starts at the political level, where we have different tax reforms, or we have new implementations for laws, or even being able to regulate other industries. At a time where even during the height of the pandemic and we had the stimulus and we've seen many people being able to make money through their investments and creating a various amount of businesses, things are coming down to a standstill, and things are even looking like it could be much worse than before the pandemic had started. So rolling into the second component of the Great Reset agenda, this really just focuses on ensuring that investments advance these shared goals such as equality and sustainability. Here, we're not just talking about equality between where Wall Street investors couldn't be dumping on followers through inside trading or leveraging dark pools, or, just leaving the average person cut and dry from having these advantages that normal investors don't. With this component, we're actually focusing more on large scale spending programs that many governments, even outside of the US, are implementing. For one, the European Commission unveiled plans for a 750 billion euro recovery plan, which equates to about $826 billion. US, China, and Japan have also had some ambitious economic stimulus plans happen during the pandemic. What the Great Reset now focuses on is the fact that we printed all this money, but instead of using them in order to just keep building more and more debt for a country, we are using this to fill the cracks in the old system, and that we could use this to create a new system that's more resilient, equitable, and sustainable in the long run. Examples of this is being able to create more jobs or have urban infrastructure and create these incentives for industries to be able to continue moving forward in helping the greater economy grow. So the third and final priority of the Great Reset agenda is to harness the innovations of the fourth industrial revolution to support the broader public good. During the COVID-19 crisis, it seemed like companies, universities, and people were coming together in order to fight the pandemic. The idea behind the Great Reset is if we were able to take that collective effort and use it as unity together, imagine what could be possible if similar concentrated efforts were made in every sector. Now, going on to the World Economic Forum, they actually have a page talking about the Great Reset, and just on the first liner, they state, there is an urgent need for global stakeholders to cooperate in simultaneously managing the direct consequences of the COVID-19 crisis. To improve the state of the World Economic Forum is starting the Great Reset initiative. If you guys weren't really able to follow along what I said earlier, this here will break it down easy to understand. They give you the context, they give you the opportunity. The context is this: we all went through the COVID-19 crisis, and the political, economic, and social disruptions it has caused, it's fundamentally changing the traditional context for decision making. The inconsistencies, inadequacies, and contradictions of multiple systems from health and financial to energy and education are more exposed than ever amidst a global context of concern for lives, livelihood, and the planet. Leaders are now finding themselves at a historic crossroad, managing short-term pressures against medium and long-term uncertainties. Now, the opportunity out of knowing the context and understanding that we're headed towards a recession, people are quitting their job, they stayed here. We are now entering a unique window of opportunity to shape the recovery. This initiative will offer insights to help inform all those determining the future state of global relations, the direction of national economies, the priorities of societies, the nature of business models, and management of a global commons. Drawing from the vision and vast experience of the many leaders engaged across the forum's communities, the Great Reset Initiative has a set of dimensions to build a new social contract that honors the dignity of every human being. So don't get me wrong, the Great Reset does sound a little bit more on the conspiracy end of things, but even if you don't believe in the full concept around what may happen in the near future, we can at least all agree upon the Great Resignation. Since 2020 of Q2, we've seen job cuts at the world's tech startups starting to increase back up in pace since the last time we had a spike back during the pandemic. There's also a neat little website right here called layoffs.fyi, which is a tracker of telling us which startups have how many employees laid off. So it tells us here the companies of the startups, how many people they are laying off, what type of series round money that they raised, how much money that they raised, and then even if we go into the layoff charts, you'll notice that the data here is showing that we are entering similar numbers. Check out this huge growth we had for the month of May, literally last month, compared to where we were back during the height of the pandemic. Since COVID-19 by quarter, it looks like right now we are approaching similar levels to before where we were at. And right now, even getting word from some of the heavy tech leaders cutting at least 10% of their entire workforce, it just shows that something is brewing. So if we can all agree upon the Great Resignation happening right now, then what I believe may follow is the Great Reset. When it comes to the Great Reset, I don't think it's all bad news, but let's actually talk about how this would impact us directly. So according to the World Economic Forum, the Great Reset impacts us through a variety of different spillways. On your screen here, they actually give us a visual of the 7 major points that segues into different aspects of our life, starting with harnessing the 4th Industrial Revolution, going into the strengthening regional development, revitalizing global cooperation, developing sustainable business models, restoring the healthy environment, redesigning social contracts, skills, and jobs, and shaping the economic recovery. I think it's safe to say that right now we are amidst the next recession. And when we see that this is going to impact us in so many different ways, the question isn't about when this will affect us, but more about how bad will it be. Now, although many people might freak out from the words the Great Reset and just think like this is some type of end of the world, end of the economy, and us going through a bear market for many, many years, I think that is actually far from the truth. And let me give you guys a little bit of good news and just some data that's going to show you otherwise. Now, the textbook definition of a recession is a prolonged period of economic decline beginning when the economy peaks and ending when it bottoms out. Now, recessions are typically marked by an economy going down in size in back-to-back quarters measured by the GDP, or also known as how much we are collectively buying and producing as a society going down. Now, the reality of a recession for us consumers normally feels as if the broader economy is just looking gloomy through rising unemployment, which we're seeing now, a stock market in decline, and also stagnation or shrinking in people's wages or the amount of income that you would earn. Due to this, a lot of people tend to spend less money, thus putting the economy more in a darker, deeper, and red state. Looking at previous data, the Great Recession that began back in 2007 that personally affected me and my family lasted just 18 months, but the impact of the crisis weighed way much longer for consumers. People think as soon as a recession is happening and then it's done, it's quit and dry and we're moving on into the next euphoric bull market, but that's actually not the case. Now, the 2020 recession itself was brief, but if you remember, there were mass layoffs and furloughs along with a rapid shift to working from home, shattered through assumptions about the value and people questioning what the meaning of work really was. Around the world, recessions have much stronger effects where even most amount of workers found dissatisfaction with their employers, and this stirred a new movement called what we know So, circling back to the Great Resignation now. Out of all this though, the most pressing risk and issue is going to be the Federal Reserve's fight against inflation. It's really interesting because the way that we can fight inflation is for our federal government to hurt us, to continue adding pain into the economy so it doesn't completely derail us but keep us on track. Now, the most ideal outcome out of all of this, the best case scenario, is if we get into what we know as a soft landing, in where consumer prices start coming down, we see gas prices returning back to earth, and we see the economic growth carrying on where people want to work, people are getting more work, they're seeing increase in pay, and we get back the positive sentiment in the market, and even seeing an increase within the stocks and crypto market as well. So the question now is, how can you prepare? Well, first of all, being aware of all this is the major key. Most people don't even understand what is going on within the world. The second most important thing is to not panic. Even if a recession is inevitable, there's no telling how severe it could be, but it never hurts to plan for the worst. And I will tell you this, panicking, selling all your investments off, and then trying to just hoard all your cash may not be the best move during this time. I still think if you're able to do that play on a less emotional and logical mindset, that is fine. That is just playing defense. That is how most investors and even some of the top dogs and institutions are preparing. But when you do it out of panic, when you do it out of fear, that is when you can severely hurt yourself. When we're flooded with emotions, that's where we act irrationally, and it never hurts to plan for the worst, but also to act in a more logical, sensible direction. To give you some more actionable tips, I think it's always great to make sure that you lock in some type of job that gives you supportive income. The good news out of all this is that we're still seeing ultra low unemployment and plenty of job openings. And although we are seeing some reported layoffs, this doesn't mean that there aren't any type of jobs for you to be able to get. Keep in mind, if we're in a full-blown recession, these circumstances could change. So I'm telling you, when things seem to be a little bit more cut and dry right now, it will not hurt in order to have a backup on a plan, or to at least be looking into a primary job that gives you consistent sources of income. Now, another way is if you guys happen to own your home or other investments, while the market has been going down just a little bit within the past few weeks, during a recession, we would see a much stronger correction. So if you've been on the fence about selling your home and you have another place of residence, consider doing that, because we're still up nearly 20% year over year, and our mortgage rates are going to continue to increase. And I expect to see demand for the housing market to still curb and to go down slightly. Now, if that doesn't apply to you, the biggest thing for anyone I think is most applicable is to have cash aside and to have liquid assets. This is meant not for you to spend on poker night, but to also cover your urgent needs or any type of unexpected emergencies. Just say you experience a layoff within your company, you get a job reduction. The advice that I'm following for myself is to make sure that my emotions don't get the best of me. I stay invested, I stay disciplined, I don't plan on selling any of my investments. I bought in knowing I would hold for a long period of time, and regardless of whatever downside we have within the market, we always have a bull market that is much longer, much more significant, much more profitable in the long-term run. I believe the easiest and most effective way in order to handle the great reset coming up is going to just be investing into your long-term goals, staying invested, and sticking true to your allocation. Now, guys, if you want to learn more about skills, go ahead and buy my $3,000 course. Just kidding, I don't have a course, but I will say this. I made a free 20-minute video just talking about my success story, how I was able to become a self-made millionaire, and some of the habits that I've been doing for the last 5 years in order to get to where I'm at right now. And although it sucks, I hate when anyone even has to talk about losing their job or people go through financial disparity. It sucks hearing. I think for me, the recession is going to be an exciting opportunity for me to continue growing wealth. And I know this is the same thing that my viewers can do too. Now, before we wrap this video up, if you guys are one of the few individuals that plan on buying up this dip and you realize when there's blood in the streets, you're taking action, one of the best ways that you can effectively invest into the market is by using your Roth IRA or even your 401k retirement account. The great news is one of the channel partners for our team has a solution for you, and this is iTrust Capital. iTrust Capital is the #1 crypto IRA platform in America, and with them, you can set up a fully self-directed retirement account with over 30 available assets from crypto all the way to gold and silver. Now, in comparison to that 401k account, you're in full control of your crypto IRA, and contributions are tax deductible, and all transactions in the IRA account are tax-free, meaning you can invest into your future however you want with crypto and not ever pay taxes on those trades. I believe investing into crypto is still going to be one of the most successful ways for you to make money. And by doing this through your IRA account is a great way for you to plan for a long-term profitable future, as well as benefiting from those tax savings as well. They have been trusted with over 4.5, not million, but $1 billion in investments from over 10 million users. On top of that, they have no monthly fees, so you're not paying anything extra, and they only have a 1% crypto trading fee. And compared to all the tax savings you would get, I think that's definitely worth it. Now guys, what's really cool is iTrust Capital, they said, yo, Brian Jung, your subscribers, I don't know, there's something really nice about them. I said, yeah, if that's the case, let's hook them up with something. iTrust Capital, thank you to you guys, because with them, you can actually earn $100 into your IRA account just by signing up using my link down below and leaving your account funded for 30 days. Now to wrap this video up, don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and follow me over on Twitter and on Instagram. Link down below in the description. Keep in mind, when you guys do follow me on social media, you guys will get impersonators like Credit Brains, Crack Brain, Brain, all these random fake pathetic accounts following you. It is not me. They're scammers. Please do not fall for it. Please do not send them Bitcoin. Please do not send them money. On top of that, I also have an exclusive Discord group where you can get access to my buy-sell alerts, my portfolio, and access to a pretty dope community. And if you guys want to check that out, link for that will be down below in the Patreon as well. Now, one last thing, I always do a secret code word, and that code word for this video is going to be restart. Comment down below restart if you guys made it all the way to the end of this video. Thank you all so much again for watching. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.